about 1 in 3 adults and even more adolescents don't get enough sleep, which can affect their health and well-being. And we're preaching to the choir with my next guest. Science journalist Lynne Peeples, author of The Inner Clock, is back on New Day for some Q&A about sleep. So important. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Oh, I love talking about sleep because I feel like I'm really on my try and sleep better journey. So I want to get into some questions we have. First, let's talk about prepping for sleep. You have the 3 C's.
Yes, so a good night's sleep starts well before the night.
Ooh.
So it starts in the morning really with contrast. So you want to make sure that your day includes contrast, and particularly light and dark.
Oh.
So think about how we evolved outdoors, right? So we want really bright days and we want really dark nights. So, and that starts with kind of first thing in the morning, trying to get daylight. Get outside. Easier to do in the summertime in Seattle, right? So
True.
we can get outside and get that light. And then not only does that tell your body it's daytime, which helps kind of line up your inner clocks to then dial down and help you get to sleep earlier. But also if you get light early in the day, that also helps protect you from the negative effects of light at night. So that's something I get into in the book. But yeah, it's really, you want that contrast.
Makes
Same
sense.
goes for temperature and everything, but light is the most critical factor.
Yeah, and constrict.
Yes, constrict. So after contrast, you want to also constrict. You want to try to keep your meals and any calories you intake to a shorter period of time during the day. In particular, you want to cut off taking in anything at least about 3 hours before bed.
Stop. Oh,
which
no.
can be difficult.
It is. Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, social life can get in the way, but really you want to try to not take in any sips of wine or chips or anything.
No snacking.
No snacking.
And consistency.
And then finally consistency. That's just going to bed the same time every night, 7 days a week. Also can be difficult if you have to rise early for work or school. Summer's a better, opportunity for students. But really that consistency is key. And in fact, recent research shows that is more important than how many hours we sleep.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And when you're woken up though, I feel like this happens to me a lot. What are the best ways to get back to sleep?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I still struggle. So, a lot of advice out there is good, trying to breathe, trying to, not let your mind wander and go down rabbit holes, which mine even did last night, I will admit. So there's no cure-all. But really what it comes down to is what not to do. And that is, don't turn on any lights. Your eyes are especially sensitive to light at night, and that tells your brain and your inner clocks that it's daytime. You don't want to do that.
No.
And so don't look at your phone if you have to go to the bathroom, and don't flip on the light switch. Those can really go a long way in helping you fall back asleep.
I know, and sometimes you think, oh, just scroll on TikTok forever, but put the phone away.
Yep,
don't
put the phone
do
away.
that. Are there any foods to avoid to help us sleep better?
Well, so it's really about that constricting primarily. So if we can just stop eating anything about 3 hours before bed, that's ideal. If you really must have a snack, if your tummy's grumbling, which it's hard to sleep with that too, try to eat something light. Do not eat sugar. Do not eat any heavy, fatty foods. Don't drink alcohol. Those things can all make the body harder to shut down and really dial down to sleep.
Yeah, that all makes sense. What's this idea too of sleep maxing, using things or hacks to sleep? Like I'm thinking about Oura Ring watches, those kind of things.
Very popular,
So
increasingly popular. I mean, the technology is getting really good. That said, they are not super accurate still. I mean, the studies that look at them, there's still quite a percentage in which they can be off as far as maybe your sleep. But I'm not wearing anything now, but especially in the course of reporting the book, I tested a lot out, and I did find a lot of value in looking at your personal trends over time. So if you really pay attention to, when did I go to bed and get up over the last few days? When did I stop eating? What kind of light exposure did I have? And how did that affect my sleep? How much REM did I get? How many hours? Sleep efficiency is a common term now in these devices. So really starting to pay attention to your own personal trends, it can really help kind of enlighten you and maybe motivate you to develop healthier habits for sleep.
Yeah, I love that tip you said with consistency. Like if that's one thing that you can
Yeah.
handle. What do you think too about like mouth taping? Do you think this works? I've seen this all the time too. Everyone's doing this and I don't know.
I did this a few years ago.
You did? Okay.
So, yeah.
You're ahead of the trend.
Well, another book, if viewers haven't read, James Nestor's book Breath really gets into this because he really emphasizes the importance of breathing, particularly breathing through your nose. So that's the idea of mouth taping, is you tape the mouth, force yourself to breathe through your nose, which is far healthier, and especially, you know, with the high rate of sleep apnea, it can potentially, you know, help minimize.
What do we think about taking supplements too, like magnesium, all of these?
So melatonin is obviously comes up a lot with sleep, and I learned some pretty interesting advice from scientists that we tend to not take it right. So you really want to take, if you have to take melatonin, and you know, jury's out if it should be a regular thing, but you want to take it 2 or 3 hours before bed. Don't pop a melatonin pill right before bed, because that could actually throw your sleep off, make it worse for the next few nights. Because you want to take it when your body is naturally starting to secrete melatonin. As your natural melatonin rises is what you want to hit, and that starts a couple of hours, 3 hours before bed. And you don't want to take very much. You don't need more than a milligram, even like half will do. And I know a lot of supplements out there are like 5 or 10, and that can create a hangover effect. And just basically overkill. So yeah, think about the dose, think about the timing for melatonin.
Wow, I could talk about sleep forever. Thank you so much for being here. And everyone can get your book too for more information, and we appreciate you being here.